We keep it rough, we keep it raw, we keep it real. Make sure you subscribe to the Reaper. Make sure you thumbs up the likes, and make sure you go over to the Kick app and download it. It's free. That's where we do the live shows at. We got the Reaper family over there. We just had a show over there talking about Adrian Problem Broda, right, this morning. So go over to the Kick app. It's free. Download it, right? Go to Jazzbo, a.k.a. the Reaper on Kick, and get the new shows, man, because we doing good things over there, man. We doing good things over there on the Kick channel, man. Go download it. Go download the Kick app. It's free. Like I said, hit the follow button. Go to Jazzbo. Notice the spelling Jazzbo, a.k.a. the Reaper. Don't punch in the Reaper or Jazzbo the Reaper. It's Jazzbo, a.k.a. the Reaper on Kick. It's free. Hit the follow button, and you will get the Reaper's new shows, and it'll take you up to the app. And you can even hear the new shows that we got on there, man. We doing good things. We want the Reaper family to come over there. But we talking Corey Holcomb today. He on Vlad, talking about Dave Chappelle. You know, when he called him, Vlad wants him to elaborate what he meant on Dave Chappelle not being funny. Let's take a listen to Corey.
Well, you talked about seeing a Chappelle show where he bombed.
Yeah, Chappelle, I do not mean no disrespect to Chappelle. I think Chappelle is a...
Yes, he did mean disrespect to Dave Chappelle. He said he get up there, he smokes cigarettes, he's unfunny. And he said he lives an alternative lifestyle and said Donnell Rollins lived one too. Right? What does Corey mean he means no disrespect? That's why Donnell Rollins was going off on him. You know, nigga, you don't talk about Dave. I'm a bass, nigga. Huh? That's why him and Donnell Rollins was into it, because he was talking crazy about Dave Chappelle. But I had a caller call in, say this is a different side of Corey. They see a different side. Huh? I said people get nice with white folks. The Reaper keep it 1,000. When they on their profile, they program, they know how to behave they self, right? Not only that, you know, Corey only gonna talk about women and call them bitches and everything like he did Linnell or Jess Hilarious. You know, he'll talk about a woman, attack a woman, we know that. With Christina Payne. These is all true facts. But he ain't gonna say nothing about a man ever since Anton Daniels stood up to him. The Reaper keep it 1,000, or it's a man he think he can whoop. But he's talking crazy about Dave Chappelle and then say no disrespect. Let's hear Corey.
Kind person. He's helped a lot of people. When I said what I said, it wasn't necessarily to be mean. It was just a perspective. I didn't never see him be really strong on stage. Now, some of his specials, salute, especially the one when he had on that one jumpsuit. I think he killed that. But, just my opinion, he wasn't the strongest comedian. That's just an opinion, though. But people take it as disrespect. I don't disrespect Chappelle. Chappelle, respect to you, brother.
You didn't disrespect Dave Chappelle. Caller said he lives an alternative lifestyle. He had people around him live an alternative lifestyle, and he's unfunny. And he get up there and smoke cigarettes and just bomb. That's not disrespectful to Dave Chappelle. Say he's unfunny. That's why Donnell Rollins was going off, saying that you say everybody's backdooria. That's your word. But you did disrespect Dave Chappelle, right? And this is why you was apologizing to everybody in Hollywood. But now you meant no disrespect. You're always disrespecting people, Corey. This is how you built your platform, but this is another thing. This is what you did.
Right. You said your top comedians are Richard Pryor, Rodney Dangerfield, and Bill Cosby.
I don't know how Bill Cosby got on that list, but I think he's a good comedian.
Okay, so he's not on that list.
Yeah, did you
So
say?
Richard Pryor, Rodney Dangerfield, who else?
I would say Red Fox after that.
Red Fox. Okay.
Yeah. You know, these are guys that don't miss. They don't miss. Everybody on that list. And I'm talking about these are the guys that are the guys that molded I think I want to do this type of thing.
So you would put Eddie Murphy on that list?
I wouldn't put him on that list as the greatest comedians, but
Really?
I think what Eddie Murphy does, I'm talking about, first of all, I'm not taking that away from Eddie Murphy, because what he did with Delirious was breakthrough type of stuff, you know what I'm saying? But Eddie Murphy and his movies, man, some of his movies, man, those movies would be nothing without Eddie Murphy. The Golden Child would not be a movie ever remembered, but because Eddie Murphy was in that movie, he made the movie. Standout talent.
Well, yeah, I think Eddie Murphy is the biggest rock star.
Now, they say Corey done turned the page. You know, somebody called in on my channel, you know, and said Corey's turned the page because he's nice on this interview and everything. They also says, why does Corey, you know, look like he have on women's attire, like a blouse at the top? And they said, why does he have on white shorts and his legs is all gap leg for Vlad and oiled up? This is what they said. And, you know, the audience fell out laughing. Huh? I mean, because Corey is sitting there gap legged and got on some white shorts, what appears to be a shirt and a tank top to me personally, right? You know, men could interpret that as a blouse. They said he got his hair done and everything, and he's sitting on gap leg. The Ripper keep it 1,000, huh? That's what I'm saying. But Corey did disrespect Dave Chappelle, and Rodney Dangerfield is not funnier than Eddie Murphy or Martin Lawrence. The Ripper keep it 1,000, but he said Martin was unfunny. This is what Corey said. So we have to go ahead and, you know, we got to look at some things, you know, that he's backtracking on, you know, because he said he was flattered that Eddie Murphy knew his name. You know, the Ripper keep it 1,000. And does he think Rodney Dangerfield is funnier than Charlie Murphy? Just like Joe Coy was one of his top comedians, just because of what he sold out, you know. And Kevin Hart. Joe Coy and Kevin Hart, which, you know, I don't think is funnier than Mike Epps. I don't think it's funnier than Earthquake. But this is what Corey does on his VladTV interviews, because he's trying to turn over a new leaf and appeal to, I would say, you know, different races of fans, but they don't find him as a crossover artist or his stand-up's too funny because other races of people just don't get him. But let Corey continue.
That came from stand-up comedy. In
Can't
terms of
argue
just
that.
overall star ability, star power, able to bring the biggest crowds out, the biggest movies. I mean, Kevin Hart has done a lot, you know, in movies, but not like on Eddie Murphy level. Like, he can't carry a movie like Eddie was carrying. You know,
Eddie Murphy
I watched Coming to America again recently. You just forget how good it is. And he doesn't have to swear. Like, the fact that he did a movie, he didn't have to swear, because remember, he was like the profanity guy back then.
Yeah.
He did a movie, just didn't swear at all, and it's still considered his top movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not arguing with nothing you said right there.
Trading Places.
You can keep going.
You know,
Eddie Murphy,
Boomerang, another one of my favorites.
man, the Clumps was good.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Was Nutty Professor?
Professor, Norbit.
He's got so many winners.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eddie Murphy, I'd never take nothing away from him as an entertainer, comedian, or none of that. But I'm talking about these guys who are in front of the people when I say comedians. Eddie Murphy is not going to go out there in front of the people. In my opinion, I don't think he'll go out there and do that because
I think Eddie Murphy is funnier in front of the people than Rodney Dangerfield. Now, Rodney Dangerfield is funny, but he's not funny as Eddie Murphy. The Reaper keep it 1,000. What Rodney Dangerfield joke, do you know that he's funnier than Eddie Murphy in? You can name a bunch of jokes Eddie Murphy had, even from Delirious or Raw, that he had, which was classic stand-ups. The Reaper keep it 1,000. Eddie Murphy is a GOAT. He's up there next to Richard Pryor. Bill Cosby is a GOAT. I would say Martin Lawrence is a GOAT. Red Fox is a GOAT. I will agree with that. Those are the GOATs. If you say top 5, you got to go Bill Cosby because of what he done with Fat Albert, The Cosby Show, and his stand-up, Let's Do It Again, Uptown Saturday Night. I mean, just some classic, legendary movies that, people are not going to do. Then you got to say Richard Pryor. He done some legendary things, and he was the first one I heard curse on stage and talk about everybody. The Reaper keep it 1,000. Give it to you straight. Then you got to say Eddie Murphy, right? Because of what he done. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he was like Richard Pryor. He was trying to be Richard Pryor, but Eddie Murphy is next to Richard Pryor. He got to be number 3. Then you got to say Martin Lawrence, for what he did with Def Jam Comedy, the Martin Lawrence Show, all the movies that he done made, and Martin made some okay stand-ups, right? Then you got to say Red Fox. Those are the GOATs. Then you could go Bernie Mac, Robin Harris. You could put them, I say Robin Harris, then Bernie Mac, number 6, 6, 7. Paul Mooney, number 8. You got to give props, man. Is Corey in the top 10? I mean, what, Earthquake? Then if you say funny, and then Corey, Corey's top 10, bottom top 10. But some people could argue Mike Epps is funnier than Corey because he appealed to different audiences. What about T.K. Kirkland? Some people would argue Lavelle Crawford. The Reaper keep it 1,000 because they appeal to crossover audiences. I mean, some people would throw Harry Spears up in there because he does impressions. I'm just saying, or even Godfrey. They appeal to crossover audiences and everything like that. And there's other comedians. What about Flip Wilson that done Geraldine? I don't think Corey's in the top 10. He's in my top 10, but I don't think he's in the top 10 overall if they just got the name of comedians. I mean, for the general public, the Reaper keep it 1,000. But what do I know? I just know what's funny to me. The Reaper keep it 1,000.
Front of the people, in my opinion, I don't think he'll go out there and do that because you don't need the money.
Well, what's funny is that before he passed, I interviewed Charlie Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this interview ever came out. We did it like in a New Jersey coffee, house or something, right?
Yeah.
And I remember I asked him. Well, a couple of things came up, during that interview, which is really cool. I asked him if he knew if the Rick James and Prince skits from the Chappelle Show was going to be as big as they were, and he said yes, because before they aired them, they went to Eddie Murphy's house and they played it for Eddie, and Eddie looked at it and said, "Brilliant." And they looked at each other like, "Oh shit, this is about to be big."
Yeah.
And Eddie Murphy.
Now Vlad is lying. Vlad is lying right there. That's why the interview never came out with him and Charlie Murphy. He would have put it out to make money, and it was done right before he died. That's what Dave Chappelle said. They knew the skits was going to be funny, Dave said, because they took them to Eddie Murphy's house, him and Charlie Murphy, and Eddie gave it the okay. The Reaper keep it 1,000, so Vlad is lying right there. Vlad heard Dave Chappelle say that, allegedly. And then he's using that he interviewed Charlie Murphy. But the interview never came out. He would have put that out to make money. That's all Vlad does is make money, off of black folks. The Reaper keep it 1,000 in their fame. Why wouldn't he put that one out? And I heard Dave Chappelle say they took him to Charlie Murphy's house. Him and Charlie took it to Eddie Murphy's house. So Vlad is lying right there. That's why that Charlie Murphy interview never came out. And this is why Corey is smiling, because he knows Vlad's lying. But he's not going to tell him, of course.
He was supposed to be on the next Chappelle's, Charlie Murphy's True Hollywood Stories, but then remember Chappelle walked away from the show.
Wow.
Yeah. That was supposed to be Eddie Murphy was going to be a guest star on the Chappelle show. But I remember I asked him, and I'm like, why do you think Eddie stopped doing stand-up, and do you think he'll do stand-up right now? And he said no, because he's going to suck. You can't just leave stand-up alone for that long and come back and think you're going to be great at stand-up. He's going to have to start doing small clubs and getting his chops down and getting his routines down. He can't just go on a big tour right off the bat. This is Charlie Murphy saying.
No, Charlie Murphy didn't say that, allegedly. I've heard other comedians say that Eddie would have to sharpen his chops for today's crowd or whatever. Vlad is mixing in stories that other black comedians said, about Eddie Murphy and going to the house and giving himself street cred. The Reaper keep it 1,000. Because I've heard this. But this is what, people say that he's a culture vulture about. Because he will lie to make it look fly. And look, Corey's sitting up there. Corey knows he's lying. But he's not going to check him.
Yeah, and we all know, if you know Charlie Murphy, you know how much he loved his brother.
Oh, yeah.
People don't talk shit about Eddie because of Charlie.
Right.
Because when Charlie used to talk, I used to be like, oh, he don't play about his brother. I could tell. When he speaks on Eddie, I was like, oh, he love his brother. And that's how it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? But Eddie Murphy, do you know to go on tour nowadays, the only thing he could talk about is his life. Yeah. And I know he don't want to do that. You cannot, Eddie.
See? He's saying he know Eddie don't want to do that. Now, this is an insinuation that Eddie lives an alternative lifestyle. That's why he's saying, I know you don't want to do that, because if you know Corey Holcomb, he said comedians would have to talk about their lifestyle when he was mentioning Ari Spears. And he said he would have to talk about him living an alternative lifestyle and to get be the best funny. So that's why he's saying he know Eddie don't want to do that. Is hating on Eddie in ways. But Eddie Murphy is a legend in comedy, and he shouldn't be even doing that. But Corey's on there to hate on other black men, for Vlad, and to cause drama, because this is what Vlad does. Go watch the Corey Holcomb interview on Vlad, Make sure you subscribe to the Reaper. Make sure you thumbs up the likes, because here we don't lie to you to make it look fly to you. And go download the Kick app, man. It's free. KICK app. Download it, right? Go to Jazzbo, a.k.a. The Reaper. Notice the spelling. Jazzbo, a.k.a. The Reaper. Hit the follow button, man, so you can follow the Reaper and get the new shows. We got the family over there. We'll see you over there. Peace out.